Hello, we're on episode 19 of Paint Calm on a Friday, and I've got a little reference picture for us to use, and I'm going to do this in two different ways. So you can make your choice as to how you would like to do it. Maybe choose from one of the ways that I do it, or come up with your own way of doing it. So let me change my scene. Here we go. So you can see here I've got my reference picture, which is a lovely wooden post, and then we've got this these stones that are being built up. Yeah, I forget what they're called, but I just thought that was rather nice. That's in the foreground, and then our background is just this lovely kind of seascape, really. So I've tried this once, so ta-da, there's my before. That was using a combination of coloured pencil and watercolour. So I think I will have another go at that, but maybe pick some slightly more granulating colours. But first of all, I'm going to have a go at doing this with some watercolour markers. These are the Pitt Artist Pen Dual Marker by Faber-Castell. I've got a selection of colours out because I'm not sure what I'm going to use. So let me start by sharing. I've pulled out quite a few greys. This is cold grey number 6. This must be another cold grey, I'm guessing. Cold grey number 4. And then we've got warm grey number 4 and warm grey number 3. So just a little selection there of 4 different greys. I've also got out the dark sepia, as well as green gold. Sorry, excuse me. Indanthrone blue. I think this is ultramarine. Yes, this is ultramarine. And what's this one? Beige red. So I've got a little selection of the pens, and then some neo colours here. I've got a colour called greyish black, silver grey. This one is Van Dyke brown, and this one I think is just called brown. This yellow ochre, no, just called ochre. This one is silver grey, no, beige. Tell a lie, this one is beige. This is turquoise blue and Sahara yellow. So I'll move those down a little bit. It's quite because I want this to be quite big so that you can see what I'm doing. I might not be able to get all the pens in the frame, but there we go. That's what we have. I've started to sketch out. So all I've done really is this line where the sand is, and a couple of lines for the blue sea, and then the green kind of trees and things in the background there. And then I've sketched out this post and my 3 stones. So that's what I kind of sketched out. The next one I will sketch out with you anyway. So let's get started. And where to get started? I need a blue sky. So let's see how we do with getting this blue sky in with this pen. Now this is a lot darker than is on the picture, but we won't worry too much about that because it's Paint Calm on a Friday and we don't worry. We just give things a try. Now let me just go around my stones and the top part of my post. There we go. What I think I will do is put some Neo colour over the top to slightly change colour here. And as usual, I'm afraid we are experimenting because I've only really tried it with the watercolour before. So I'm trying to keep it kind of in these lines going across because I think that will look better. So we'll see whether we like this one better than we like the one in watercolour, won't we? And the one that I'm going to do next. So we've got our sky there, but I think what I might do is take some of this Neo colour and make that a bit more interesting. Like that. Okay, so we've got that bit in there. Now we need to get the little green. Oh, I didn't get a green out, did I? Whoopsie. This is where I keep my pens in my peg and all. So I think I'm going to go with green olive, permanent green olive. Let's give that a try. Which end is it? Yes, we've got the right end. So now I'm going to get some of these trees in. Like that. Okay. And then we have got like a little bit of sand, or actually that needs to be a bit neater. There. Right. We have got like a little bit of a sandy edge, haven't we? So we'll pop that in there with the beige red. Then we need our sea, and it needs to be darker than the sky. So I'm going to use this indent throne blue. And this should be quite a dark sky. Maybe mine is more evening time. It's definitely got a completely different look. Yeah, I don't have very many of these pens, so this was the best choice that I could come up with. But yeah, mine is looking like a kind of a nighttime scene, I think. And then we need the sand. So I think I am going to go with this beige red colour. Give me some sand. Okay, so I think we've got our bits going on there. Before I tidy any of that up or add anything else in, I want to get my post in, and let's try a warm grey number 4. Is that going to be, no, that's not too bad. So this is my post. Like so. But we need something darker in there for that little ring, that little hole in the, not sure that that's doing it. We may have to come back to that. Right, now I need to get my stones in. So I'm going to go with the warm grey number 3. And let's see how light that is. Oh, that's quite nice and light. So we'll get that one in there. And we've got the, what's this, cold grey number 4. How dark is that? It's just a bit on the edge here. It's all right, because I want that to be in the shadow a little bit. So like that. And then I'll go back to my warm grey number 3. And then I can add some other colour on the top. Okay. So now I'm going to go with this beige, I think. And I'm going to try and get a bit more detail going on, if I can. So that there's a little bit more something going on in there. And maybe this middle one will add like so. And maybe we'll add the brown in on this one. So that we've got some different kind of textures going on. There's that beige. Let's just maybe go over that a bit more. It looks a bit too dark there. Maybe that's better. Right. Now I need to do something with this kind of, do you call it a knot in the wood? Maybe it's a knot. And I'm going to add, this is the, what is this, silver grey. I'm just adding this to get some markings on my wood and get that little knot to show, which I think is coming out quite nicely. Right, in this C, I think we need this bit that's, we've got that whiter bit going on, so we'll add that bit in. Kind of goes over there, doesn't it? Maybe I'll just add a bit more in to Get the idea that that's a bit more like sea. Right, we need to do something with those. So I'm going to get the greyish, what's this, greyish black, and try and get like another layer in here. A layer in the front there, which I think helps quite a bit. Okay, now then, shall I wet these because they're neo colours? Let me, oh, right, let me find some water. Right, back with some water. Okay, let's find a paintbrush. I'm going to use this little size 2, Princeton Snap size 2. And let's just see what happens if I just add a bit of water here to bring some of this out a bit more. Yeah, I think I prefer that. Let's do the same with our middle pebble or stone. Okay, and then again with this one. That's nicer, I think. That's just giving it a little bit of something else. Now mine definitely looks like a night scene rather than a day scene, but where I put the neo colour on the top here, I'm just going to see what happens if I add water to that now. Probably would have helped if I'd have had a lighter watercolour pen, but I didn't. So you might want to go lighter if you don't want yours to look like it's night time like mine. I think this is not a bad effect. I'm not hating it. And I think that's kind of helped to give that a little bit more definition. So that one, quite quick and yeah, fairly easy really. Let's take the masking tape off and then we will try doing this same picture. Let's see if I can find the ends. There we go. We'll do this same picture, but I'll use some paints. Okay. What have we got left? Just this one on the bottom. Right. There we are. So that was basically with these Faber-Castell watercolour markers and some neo colours. So I'm just going to pop them away. So we'll pop them down there and we'll put, actually maybe I'll keep them out. Maybe I might need those even with my watercolours. That's going to be dry enough for me to turn it over. Let's just get my heat tool just in case and give it a quick blast, and then we can, let's see if I've got, yeah, I might have another page. All right, now then, I think I'm getting near the, oh, this would be the last page. Wow, okay. So let us put some masking tape down. And while I'm doing this, you could be doing the same. You can pick your favourite paints. What shall I use today, paint-wise? I might get my Gansai Tambis out. Yes. Don't use them very often. I have used them recently in one video earlier in the week. Right. So I got it the right way up. Yes. Let's get a clip. Okay. Right, I'm just going to grab some Gansai Tambis and I'll be back in 2 ticks. So this set here is from Choosing Keeping, and it's the winter, Japanese seasons winter set. And it comes in these colours, which I think will work pretty nicely for this reference picture. So these are my paints here. And yeah, let's see how we can, I can't quite get everything on, but I'll lift them up as I use them. So I need my little pencil, and we will just sketch this out. Move that out of the way for a minute, because I do like to sketch on the wonk, as they say. So I'm going to get this line in, and then we've got this other line going across for our trees. And I need to get my post in. This post is obviously going to be bigger because of the way that I've drawn this, because we need it to go kind of up to there. So let's get the post in, and then we need to draw our stones. And that's definitely got a bit of a shadow going on there. Then we've got this overly one. Then we've got this one which rests on here and comes down a bit, and it's got this kind of bit of a shape like so. I think that will do. Right, starting with my sky again, I think, and I'm going to use, what colour is this? Well, if you take a look at these, they have got kind of Japanese names, I believe. So the best I can do is give you the numbers, I think. I'm going to use the pale blue here to start off with, which is 204. So let's take some of that to start doing our sky. And this one probably will have quite a different feel to it because of the colours that I'll be using. So this is probably going to, you know, definitely be more like daylight compared to the other one, which definitely looked like night time. Okay, so there we've got a nice bit of sky going on. I think for the sand, what colour shall I use for the sand? This one kind of looks beigey, doesn't it? This is number 216. So because it's not going over, I thought that that would go over because they're a bit like gouache. Oh no, it does. But I don't want it to go over, do I? Ooh, okay, right. We're not panicking. We are not panicking. We are just dabbing. There we go. And I'll fix that when I do the post. So I'm not going to panic about it. I think I'm going to add in some of this number 2. Okay. Give it a little bit more. Says it's not just looking like one block of colour. Okay, there we go. We've got our sand. Now I need a darker blue for the sea, but not as dark as the ones that are there. So let's get a bit of a palette here. And we'll take the same blue that we've already used. So I'm taking that blue that I've already used, and I'm just going to make it slightly darker by adding some of the 220. Maybe a tad more. There we go. So I think that is now giving me a slightly different blue for the sea. I'll get my trees in a minute. There we go. And then we need the green for the trees. So let's use number 24, which is, I can move it out the way now, which is this one. Where am I? This one here. And we'll get this little tree line in. I might want to darken that slightly. So I'm just going to add in a bit of this sort of grey colour. Like that, to make it recede into the background a little bit more. Right, so I think I'm going to dry this next. There we go. So as I can get my post in. And for my post, I'm going to use this brown here, which is number 22. So let's get this post in. And it'll go right over what I had there before, which is why I wasn't panicking. So there we have our post. And I think while it is wet, I'm just going to use my little spatula trowely thing. And I'm going to get some interest going on. So find anything that will scratch and make a mark, basically. It's all good. There. I think that's given our post a little bit more interest so that we can move on. Going down to my size 2 now to do these stones. And I'm going to take this colour number 208, which is a bit like a buff titanium. And we can just pop that in. Move it up so as you can see what I'm doing. And maybe we can, where is my palette? We can take a little bit of that same colour, but just add a little bit of the number 2. Maybe a bit more of that, just so that this one is then more of a orangey kind of colour, and I'll get the shadows in a little bit. Okay, so that one's a slightly different colour, and then we need more of a grey. So I'm just going to take that same colour, which was, what was that? Number 208. And I'm going to add some of this. What should I add? Some of this 139. Yeah. So that we get this kind of grey colour. But what they all have in common is that I started off with the very same base colour. Okay, so there we've got our 3 stones. In fact, it's just, I think that needs to be just slightly flatter. Otherwise it doesn't look as if it's balancing properly. Okay, so that's those. Now let's grab some of these Neo colours again, and I'm going to use that greyish black into the tree line again. So I get a little bit of texture going on, and I quite like the fact that it's bled in, because that could be the reflections in the water. But do we want to do something with our water? Let's just see if we can get yeah, I like that. That's kind of working. So now that kind of has a bit of movement going on in it. And then let's take our ochre for down here for the beach line. So that we've got a little bit of definition going on there. Now I want to do something with those stones. Oh, I don't know. They do seem to be fairly okay. Right. So perhaps I'll use this brown one and just see. It hasn't really got much of a point on it, but let's get a bit of shadow going on the end there, and maybe a few lines going on. And then with our grey one, get a little bit more definition. And finally, what should we use? Should we use this silver grey again? Yeah, maybe we'll try using that to get something going on there. And I need, what colour shall we use? Maybe we'll use this Van Dyke brown just to get a bit of shadow going on around the edge of that one. Now I might just tidy that top one up with my brush, paintbrush, because I couldn't get much of a point on it. So I'm just going to which is the joy of neo colours, isn't it? So I haven't done a dark bit there, but we can darken that up with our greyish black and make that a little bit better. Well, decisions, which do we like the best? Let's just let's undo all of this. And I will show you all three and show you that, you know, they come out differently each time depending on the colours that we choose. They might have different atmospheres. So let's start with this one. Was number 1. Then number 2 was our kind of nighttime version with the pens. And there's our number 3, which is paints again, but paints and neo colours. Whereas, what did I use here? On this one, I used paints and coloured pencils. So, choices. I think I prefer this one, personally. So I think that's the one that I will leave in shot. I hope that you have a go, and you know, you can, I will put I'll try and find it, but in any case, when you watch the video you can see the reference picture in the corner there. But it was Unsplash, I think, or Pixabay. It was one or t'other. It's copyright free reference picture. So yeah, play around with it, have a go, do it your way. If you're on my Patreon, if you're a member of my Patreon and you have a go, then put it on our Discord server for Patreons. So have a lovely weekend, everybody, and stay safe, stay healthy, stay calm, and I hope you'll join me again for another Paint Calm on a Friday next week.